Gentlemen, do you realize what we've found? A being from another world, as different from us as one pole from the other.
You're listening to Fun with Horror with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hi, beautiful friends with horror. This is Andrew.
And this is Scotty.
Ooh. And welcome to episode 156 of Fun with Horror. We are the most wholesome horror podcast in the entire world. This is the podcast where two long-distance best friends stay in touch by giving each other horror movies to watch, and then we discuss them not just for us, but for you, beautiful humans.
That's right. Last week, or last episode, was my choice, Andrew. And I chose the 1951 science fiction horror movie, The Thing from Another World. But
Ooh, I liked that.
Of course, everybody, stay tuned to the end of the episode to hear what Andrew is going to pick for our next movie.
Ooh.
But until then, hi, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired.
I get you, man.
I'm happy to be talking to you.
I'm always happy to be. I'm happy to be looking at you.
I'm happy
Humana.
be sitting next to you.
I wish.
I thought you would look to your left at least. I thought I could pull one over on you.
Well, I mean, I am staring at you in your place, so
I don't know. You know.
Yep.
I
that's
just thought.
cool.
I thought I was clever.
You know what? You were, and shame on me. Shame on me. I'm speaking no evil today for you. Shame on me.
Oh.
No, because I'm just.
Of course, I'm a bloody doctor.
That's a perfect line.
Speak no evil, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case you didn't get the reference. Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
Before we go any further, we have a comment on Spotify that we must address.
Oh boy. Okay.
This is a very cool comment because, and I'll read you the comment, which is fine. It's good, but
okay.
Amanda Colashaw, okay, commented way back in the past of Fun with Horror. She was all the way back in episode 10.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember that one?
Yes. Yeah. Of course.
What movie did we cover?
Wasn't that our top 10?
You're so good.
Yeah, buddy.
You're so good. I tried to pull another fast one on you, but I couldn't do it.
I'm on it today. I'm on it.
Wow. You might start trying to pull fast ones on me because I am not on it.
I would. No, I'm a better person than you, so I won't do that. But
this is true. Oh.
No, I'm kidding. Stop.
Oh. Amanda says, paranormal activity also scared the life out of me. I was glued to my seat in the theater when it ended, then slept with the lights on for a week. Didn't help that the house I lived in was, shall we say, active. So I felt like I was getting a look at how much worse it could get. Wow.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
Here's that thing where, I would love to believe in the paranormal activity, as they say. But I've never seen anything in real life, so I can only believe it so far.
I'm with you. Yes.
But it still scares the life out of me, as Amanda says. Now, if I lived in a house that was active, oh my Lord, if I had seen that movie and come home to an active house, I would have, I don't know. We may not be doing this podcast right now, buddy.
That's true. Yeah, that does sound horrifying. It sounds also just like a little bit of fun, but like more horrifying. Just a little joy there. A little bit.
A little joy. But Amanda, thank you for commenting on our Spotify episodes.
Yes, that's a great comment too. I love that. I
I love that people can comment on specific episodes. It's really cool.
That is cool. I like that too. That's a cool feature for sure.
So it's the one good thing that Spotify does.
We're not sponsored by Spotify, as you can tell.
No, we are sponsored against Spotify. But if you listen to us on Spotify, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
that's so
you.
sweet. Oh, boy.
Oh my
yeah, so Spotify is doing this thing. I don't know if they're doing it to us yet, where you can see how many plays each episode of a podcast has.
Oh.
Like, listeners can see how many plays an episode has. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
No, that's like an invasion of privacy. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's the worst thing. And it's terrible for podcasts because, like, for instance, us, it's not even close to a good indicator of how many people are listening to us because most of our listens are on Apple.
True. Yep.
You know?
Oh, it's a bummer.
For instance, if I go onto our podcast provider, whatever, Buzzsprout, and I look at just the last 5 episodes, okay? 55% of our listens came from Apple Podcasts. And only 18% came from Spotify.
See, that's tough. And, you know, because people are going to look at that and go like, oh, only so many listens, they must not be great. I'm not going to listen to these guys.
Exactly.
Which is a bummer. That sucks.
Exactly. And then, like, and for podcast creators, one of the main reasons I don't usually share to other podcast creators how many listens or downloads we get is because I don't want to compare ourselves to other people. I don't want people to compare themselves to us, whether we get more or less. It's just just be happy that you're out there and people are listening to us. You know,
agree.
I mean, when our episode last week got 100,000 listens, I was
just lower end of an episode for us, but that's fine.
Yeah,
that's all right.
One of our worst. Oh, yeah, that would be amazing.
That'd be
anyway,
awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. Hey,
hey.
Guess what? Guess what we both did.
Took a shower?
Oh gosh, I haven't in years. No, I, of all people in the world, got to go to a movie theater and watch a movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and you went and saw the same one.
That's right, we did.
Yeah,
so
it was nice.
Then I took a shower.
Yep, that's true. That's true. I saw.
I mean, should we say what movie we saw?
Yeah,
let's say it. Let's say it.
Let's say it. Yeah.
What did we see, Andrew?
We saw Clown in a Cornfield, which both of us have read the book.
Yes.
And talked about on this podcast before, and we both got to see it.
And one of us really liked it. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
No.
I was like, oh no.
But then the next day was Mother's Day, and Andrew was super, super busy. So we didn't get a chance to even talk about it. So
I know, but
we're still deciding what we want to do. Like, should we talk about it on Patreon to give people a reason to go over there?
Ooh, that's not a bad idea. I do want to do something with it for the podcast because it's a fun movie. We're fun with horror, so whether it's Patreon or this, I think it should be something we talk about for the podcast. Just because it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's like, and it was just so. Bowie, what are you doing? Bowie, my cat's got the zoomies, and she's like digging into the couch. She's so cute right now, though. Anyway,
usually it's Ziggy that gets the zoomies before we record. So look at Bowie. All right.
It just always reminds me, buddy, of your wedding next to a cornfield and the photo we took inside the cornfield. Man, it's just a good time.
That was a good time. That's a good photo too, man. That was a good space to do some pics.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I can't think of a segue, so let's just talk about the thing from another world.
Okay.
On the next picture, 1 minute later, that dot is moving from west to east, moving fast enough to form a streak.
What shutter speed were you using? Thousandths of a second.
Moving pretty fast, wasn't it?
The Thing from Another World was released on April 7th of 1951. It was directed by Christian Nyby and Howard Hawks, even though Howard Hawks was uncredited. It was written by Charles Lederer, Howard Hawks, again uncredited, Ben Hecht, again uncredited, and based on a novella by John W. Campbell Jr. entitled Who Goes There? It stars Margaret Sheridan as Nikki, Kenneth Tobey as Captain Patrick Hendry, Robert Cornthwaite as Dr. Carrington, Douglas Spencer as Scotty, and James Arness as The Thing.
That was so good. That was so... I thought you froze.
Oh, no, I didn't freeze.
No, that was so good. I loved that. That actually sounded really good, dude.
It was a dramatic pause afterwards that nobody's going to hear because I edit out all the dramatic pauses.
True. Oh, man, you sounded really good. I'm impressed by that, buddy.
Are you excited to talk about this movie more now?
Obviously.
Yeah, let's do it.
But real quick, let's find out what you thought about it. Without spoilers. Without spoilers yet, everybody.
I'm not going to spoil anything about this movie because there are surprises galore.
Twists and turns.
So,
but what? No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You asked me a question, right? Do you want me to answer it?
Yes,
Andrew,
please.
do you want me to answer?
More than I've wanted anything ever in my life.
Even heat during the winter?
Nope.
This is going well. So
I like it.
Andrew,
yeah.
let me take you back to episode 155.
Okay.
I mentioned,
ago.
yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mentioned that when I was young and I saw John Carpenter's The Thing, I watched this one because my mother told me that this movie scared the bejesus out of her when she was younger. And I watched it, and I was a teenager and I was used to John Carpenter's The Thing. This is a black and white film. I was not prepared. It did not scare me at all. And I wasn't impressed with it. But as the years have gone on, I was really wanting to rewatch it now that I'm an old man.
Stop.
And and I like older movies more now than I used to back then.
Yeah.
So upon rewatching this movie, I am pleased to say that I like this a lot.
Nice.
I very much like this movie. What did you think, though?
I liked it too. I did. I kind of mentioned this during our last episode too. There's something very charming about a black and white movie, especially sci-fi, because I'm such a Twilight Zone fan. I've always been. I love Twilight Zone. It's one of my favorite shows in the world, and this is very much an extended Twilight Zone episode. You know what I mean? It's this sci-fi. It's aliens. It's some of that wonderful 50s dialogue. So yeah, this is a fun movie, man. I did enjoy it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to our spoiler warning. So, first of all, if you don't want anything spoiled about The Thing from Another World, then you can pause the podcast right now, go watch it, and then come back.
Yes.
This is the point of no return. However, the first thing we're going to spoil is something we started last week, inspired by doesthedogdie.com. Any major trigger warnings, such as sexual assault or animals being hurt or dying.
Right.
That way you can find that out if you want to right now, or you can still pause the podcast if you don't want to know a single thing. So, Andrew.
Yes.
There are some dogs in this movie.
There are. Yes.
Do the dogs die, Andrew?
They do. So just this is your warning. They do die in this movie. There's a few that die in this movie.
And how bad is it?
You don't really see it. I mean, you don't see the death, really. You see kind of the aftermath, and it's mostly, I mean, it's 50s, so the dog's just kind of laying there. You do see one in like a bin, and again, you don't ever see the face. You just kind of see fur. So I would say it's not, it just depends. It just depends on how you would view it, but you don't really see much.
Yeah,
I would say
there's no blood.
Yeah,
there's no suffering.
No, not at all.
I'd love to say that it seems pretty fake.
Yeah,
but for a 1951 movie, I mean, it's It's really well done.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, I don't know about the 1950s.
Yeah.
Did they create a stuffed animal, or did they get a real passed away animal and use it? Who knows? I don't know, but
yeah,
it's a little bit of a trigger warning there in a 1951 sort of way.
There you go. Yep, good way to say that.
And there we have it.
There we go.
And on that note, Andrew,
yes,
I am going to pull out my virtual 20-sided die.
Yes.
And I am going to start rolling it, which means that we've come to the 3-minute recap, my friend.
Of course.
You're going to tell me when to stop.
And of course, for those listening and don't know this, if it's even, Scotty will do the 3-minute recap. And if it's odd, I'm sorry, but it will be me.
So I do happen to be rolling this die right now. You just tell me when to stop.
I'm going to have you stop it right about now.
My friend, it is a number 14, which means I'll be doing it.
Whew, man. Oh, what a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want you to know that I actually sent, hoping it was you, I sent, let's just say a transmission, if you will, on a bottle rocket to space.
Oh.
I did let whoever was out there, if anyone did receive it, know that you may be doing the recap. And I did. I received a transmission back that said, it better be good or we're invading. That's all it said.
Whoa. So you reached out to otherworldly beings.
Mm-hmm, I did, yeah.
Wow.
In all honesty, it's a pretty standard Tuesday for me. So yeah, do well, or, I mean, it could be the end of the human race. So just no pressure.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, I figured.
I wonder, I wonder in what time I'll be able to do this 3-minute recap.
Oh, they did say it better be under 3 minutes as well, or else not only will they take over Earth, but it's going to hurt.
But I wonder, like, what my final TRT will be. Like, it could be anything. It could, I don't know. I just better try.
Yeah.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
All right. So the thing from another world, it's not really that difficult to explain. We're in the Antarctic. I believe near the North Pole, or is it the South Pole? The North Pole?
I think it was North Pole.
Thank you, buddy. So we're near the North Pole, and we meet Scotty, who is a reporter looking for a story. He's up with these military people and scientists, and they end up going from one facility to another. There's some weird things going on with the radio frequencies and such. They know that something's happened at the North Pole, so they all fly there. And let me tell you, they're dressed pretty lightly for being in the North Pole, which is astounding that they didn't freeze to death. Yeah. But they find that something has crashed in the North Pole. It is a flying saucer. After it crashed, it evidently was submerged under ice, and then the water froze over it. The scientists and Captain Hendry, they all decide that they're going to use thermite to melt the ice to get the flying saucer out. But in doing so, the flying saucer catches on fire and burns up. But, however, luckily, they found a humanoid figure about 8 feet tall under the ice away from the flying saucer. It had fallen out or tried to escape and frozen itself. So they get this big block of ice with this humanoid creature in it. They take it back to their facilities. I don't know what you'd call them. Their base, maybe. Their science facilities. And they're trying to decide what they want to do with it because it's definitely not human. And, they know they have something from outer space. As this goes on, they set somebody to guard it overnight. He is creeped out by this thing that's in the room with him, so he decides to put a blanket over it to hide it from view. Well, turns out the blanket is a heating blanket, and it's plugged in. So the next thing that happens is the guy goes looking for the captain and the doctor and everybody, and he says, "Hey, guys, it's escaped. It thawed out of the ice, and it's escaped." So they all go looking for it. They use a Geiger counter thing to find it. And then, boom, what? They hear the dogs barking outside, and they look out the window, and the thing is like this Frankenstein-looking, tall human-looking thing, and it's fighting the dogs. The dogs are ripping it apart, but the thing throws a couple of the dogs, and it goes, "Arr!" And then they scare the thing away. They go outside. The thing has killed a couple of the dogs, unfortunately, but there's also a severed hand. They take the severed hand inside, and from it, they find that this thing does not actually have blood. It is plant-like in how it's made up. So they determine that it is very difficult or almost impossible to kill this thing in a normal manner. So they're looking around the base for this thing. They know it's out there somewhere. They have a few guys in the greenhouse, and then one guy gets attacked and comes into the room. He's like, "Oh," but he's alive. It's the greenhouse. So they go to the greenhouse. Also, at a certain point, they found one of the dead dogs in the greenhouse, and it was drained of blood. So it's not like the thing's a vampire, but it seems to live on blood. Mm. So maybe it is kind of a vampire. Who knows? They go to the greenhouse because they hear like the Geiger sensor is like detecting Geigers, and they open the door and the thing is right there in the door, and it's and they close the door. So then they're figuring out what to do. The doctor, he wants it alive, because the army has been like messaging them saying, don't kill it. But these people realize that this thing is dangerous, that it wants to possibly take over the human race by draining everybody of blood and, propagating its own beings and kind and stuff like that. So at one point, the thing comes into a room and they set it on fire, and it's like thrashing around. The room's on fire, and it runs outside, crashes through a window, and escapes. Then they do one last-ditch effort. They decide that the best way to destroy this is with electricity. So they set up a trap in a hallway. The thing comes into the hallway. The Dr. Carrington, that's his name, Dr. Carrington, he runs up to the thing, and he's like, "I can talk to you. I'm not like these others. I don't want to hurt you." And the thing looks at him for a moment, and then it just throws him across the room, basically. It hits him, but it also throws him. Then the thing comes forward, and they electrocute it, and it becomes a pile of ash or dust or whatever, something like that. Mm-hmm. Then they all go to the computer room, and Scotty, the reporter, gets on the microphone, and he does this nice long speech about how heroic everybody was in saving the facility. And then he says, "I have one last message for everybody out there. Look at the skies. Keep your eyes on the skies," and stuff like that. And that's the end of the movie.
Oh, just under 3 minutes.
Oh, thank God.
I will send the transmission when I can. Probably later. We'll be fine. But great job.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
That was honestly, that was the movie, dude. That was really good.
A movie from 1951 is surprisingly not as easy to recap as I thought it would be.
But you did a great. Honestly, you nailed all the beats. So, yeah, that was great. God, look at you.
Look at you.
Oh, okay.
Everybody that can't see right now, Andrew just literally pulled out a mirror and started looking at himself and primping.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, I was distracted looking in the mirror. Did you say something?
The Thing from Another World, Andrew.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Andrew, let's talk about something real quick.
Okay.
We're not going to spoil the other movies based on the book.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you seen both of the other ones?
I've actually only seen the 80s, like the original.
John Carpenter's.
John Carpenter's thing, but I've never seen the 2011 thing.
Wait, I'm sorry, who? John
Carpenter? Isn't he the German guy that wrote it? John Carpenter?
John Carpenter?
Or maybe not German, Swedish, maybe?
Swedish. The Swedish
Jarn.
film director. Jarn? Yes.
Yeah, I love that one. I'm hoping it's the same one you're thinking of.
Everybody's so nice in it.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, this alien is so cool."
Oh boy. So anyway, yeah. So you've only seen John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes.
We're not going to spoil that. We're not going to spoil the prequel that came out much later.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you think of this movie in relation to John Carpenter's The Thing, without spoiling John Carpenter's?
I mean, there's some similarities, but there's also just a bit of, a bit of differences.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah, a few. I really, in all honesty, watching this, kind of thought of it as its own thing while watching it.
As its own what?
Oh, that was an accident. Yes. 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 Oh, I love it when a plan comes together. Yeah, it was its own thing from another world, really.
Too far.
Yep, sorry, reel it back, Andrew. No, I really didn't. I almost didn't even compare it, to be honest. Like, as I was watching it, I just saw it as its own movie, which is interesting.
Yeah.
What about you? Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
Well, as I do sometimes for fun with horror, I went slightly above and beyond.
Uh-oh.
For this. I looked up the novella, Who Goes There?
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
And I saw that it's only like about 100 pages long. So you know what? I read it. So I think the novella came out in the 30s. I didn't write down the exact date. But here's the surprising thing, because I had no idea if this movie or John Carpenter's movie was more faithful to the book.
Mm-hmm.
John Carpenter's is.
Really?
The book is about, and I'm going to spoil the book here, everybody.
Okay. Yeah.
This is how I talk about John Carpenter's thing without fully spoiling it.
Right. There you go.
But the book is about basically this movie we just watched, where they find a creature, an alien in the Antarctic, frozen in ice. In the book, it is a shape-shifting creature.
Ah, okay.
And the book deals with the paranoia of not knowing if your fellow facility people are creatures, aliens disguised as the humans, as themselves, you know?
Interesting.
I was surprised how much John Carpenter took from that novel. I had no idea until now. I'm sure a lot of people out there are going like, I knew that the whole time. You guys are idiots.
Hey, don't say that.
Hey, I'm just saying what somebody else is probably saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they're saying it, don't be a bully, you jerk.
I will throw a cat at their face.
I know you wouldn't, because I know you don't want that cat to get hurt.
Oh, my cat would not get hurt. It would destroy everything.
Sweet.
Anyway, wow, that went dark. Sorry.
I liked it. I'm here for it.
So this thing in this movie is just your average Frankenstein-looking creature.
Yeah, very much so. And honestly, like I said, it's very much like a Twilight Zone episode looking at this. Because their aliens were, for the most part, were just tall people with like maybe a bigger forehead or whatever, you know. They actually wanted to do closer to the novel when they made this movie, but the budgets of the 1950s being what they were, they weren't able to. So okay, all right.
But I gotta say that even for a 1951 movie, I really like the special effects in this movie.
I agree. Actually, honestly, one of my notes is that, I mean, it is a special effect, but it was real. When he set on fire, I was like, that's a crazy scene.
That's a crazy scene.
Like,
well,
whoa.
Back in 1951, I don't think they had the safeguards that they do now. But my note also is I would be very surprised if none of the actual actors, besides the thing who's supposed to be on fire, if none of the other actors got burned during that scene, because holy crap, they're just setting the whole room on fire.
Yep. And he's like whipping stuff around. Like you see stuff going.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And it's almost like they're like throwing liquid molten lava at him or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's and it lasted longer than I thought it would have. Because, I mean, he's walking around because I was like, oh, this is going to be quick. He's got to run and be doused. But it goes a while where I'm like, oh my gosh, for 50s, this is nuts.
Yeah. Here's another thing about the 50s. I wonder how shocking it was to have a severed hand in a movie back then, you know?
That's a good point. I'm curious.
That made me think. But, you know, besides the fire and stuff, I'm actually more talking about the design of the thing And also just the whole Antarctic locale of the movie, because this was not shot in Antarctica, Andrew.
What?
It was shot right here in Southern California, my friend.
What? Must have been during a windstorm or a snowstorm.
Whoa. Did you know that the scene where they're all standing in a circle around the edge of the flying saucer, which is a very cool scene,
I liked it too.
that was filmed in San Bernardino in 100-degree weather.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, they did a good job for 50s. Like, I wouldn't have thought that.
You know, I made a joke about them not being bundled up enough for the North Pole, but they were bundled up enough that had to have been uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
holy
Oh
crap.
my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
My main thing, though, was that it's interesting. I know that it wasn't filmed in the snow or anything.
Right.
But you know what? I was immersed enough in this movie that I believed that they were in a very cold place and that there was a lot of snow, you know? I felt that way. I didn't really even think about the scenery and the sets until they were standing in that circle, because there's a moment where behind you can definitely see like where the backdrop kind of two of the boards meet or something.
Yes. Yep.
But like you said, it doesn't take me out of the movie too much. It's just charming.
It is. Yeah. It being a 50s movie, like you go with it and you're fine with it because it's the 50s. It really adds that charm where you go, oh, that's great. I love that there's those little moments where you see like maybe a mistake or whatever. It's great. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's charming.
Now, given all that, my friend, obviously giving the movie some leeway for being a 1951 movie, what kind of quibbles did you have with this movie, if anything?
I actually didn't. And I think I didn't because it was like a 1950s movie. There wasn't anything where I'm like, well, that's not realistic, or that's, you just kind of, at least for me, I went with it. Like, there wasn't anything where that's preposterous, or I don't like that, or well,
do you ever say that to yourself when you're watching a movie?
Often
that's
I say
preposterous.
That's preposterous. No, only with 50s movies.
Okay.
No, the only thing I would say, and again, it's 50s, so it was just kind of a different time. There's the whole opening scene where Scotty goes to visit kind of the generals or the military folks. And man, they are talking about women like crazy for that whole scene where I'm like, okay, guys, different subject. Come on, man. And again, 50s.
Yeah, but you know what? That didn't bother me because it wasn't like 80s.
True.
Male chauvinistic talk.
True.
It was just they were talking about ladies. They were talking about women. And
And I agree, but for me, I was like, okay, guys, like, let's get on with something else. That's a lot of lady talk. I
get it.
That was it. But and again, not a quibble. It's the 50s. I'm just saying that was maybe my only thing where I was like, all right, guys, let's get on with the alien.
Yeah. My one quibble.
Yeah.
And this is something I actually ended up finding out about when I was looking up some behind the scenes on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
This movie came out at a time when directors and such were experimenting with having actors kind of talk over each other a little bit more to make the dialogue seem more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
It felt experimental to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time I watched this movie, a couple weeks ago, not the very first time when I was a kid, but a couple weeks ago, my first viewing of this movie, I noticed that they were talking over each other.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed how sometimes an actor would be talking and somebody would just like talk over them and say something to interject, but the other actor would just keep talking. And I was like, that's, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then I read that was a purposeful thing, that they were experimenting. They were doing a new thing in movies around that time, where instead of just one person saying their line and the other person reacting and saying their line, they wanted it to be more like a real conversation. I think it was too much in this movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a lot of times when I was just like, stop talking over him. Let this guy get his line out and stuff like that.
That's fair. I notice it too when the general kind of first gets there and he talks to the girl that he had kind of a fling with.
Yeah.
There was definitely some moments there where they're back and forth. Now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. And I really noticed it in a scene with Dr. Carrington, and there's a couple other guys. I think when they're in the greenhouse, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or when he's showing them the plant pods that he's feeding blood to. Yeah, there's just a whole conversation where he's trying to tell them stuff, and then some guy in the middle of the doctor's sentence would be like, "You don't say," and the doctor's just still talking. And before the guy even got out the whole "you don't say," the Dr. Carrington be like, "Yes, I do say," you know, and it's
gosh, yeah.
It was just so weird. Like,
yeah,
the doctor was reacting too quickly to something somebody else was saying, and that took me out of the movie a little bit. It was unrealistic.
It's been here. It'll come back again.
We'd better tell Captain.
I don't agree with you, Doctor. I think it far better if science rather than
Doctor,
the
are you
army.
sure this is the best thing to do?
I'm sure we can communicate with it. We must.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even though they were going for realism, so
I get that. No, that's a very valid point. Yeah, I would agree with you.
But that said, I actually was very engrossed in this movie, surprisingly so. It's not a very long movie.
No, it's not. No.
The thing itself doesn't really appear until about 42 minutes into the movie.
That's true. It definitely takes a while.
And you don't even see it really. It's actually a really cool scene. Like, I know it's sad that it kills 2 or 3 of the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But when they look out the window and they see it like surrounded by the dogs and fighting the dogs, it's actually a really cool looking scene.
I agree. It would be a cool poster of kind of that silhouette of them.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I know, I agree.
But then when you see the thing after that, man, it's so cool.
It is cool. Like I said, I honestly, the second I saw it, I was like, oh, this is like, it kind of warms my heart because it does give me those Twilight Zone feels, like that, just that 50s sci-fi alien that they just find kind of a taller guy and morph him up a little bit. And I loved it. I was very happy to see how he looked. I was like, I don't care, if it isn't quite like the Juan, I was going to say Juan Carpenter's.
now
I'm mixing the name up.
Jarn Carpenter and Juan Carpenter.
Juan Carpenter. I was trying to do Jarn, but I forgot what it was, so I went with Juan.
Oh, he's all over the world making this movie.
He studied. No. No, I didn't care that it wasn't the same look.
But have you also seen The Thing by Jean Carpenter?
I have. Je suis la jeune fille. Omelette de fromage.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
As we're saying, yeah. So anyway, cool thing. They wanted to have more close-up shots of the thing, of the creature, but they were worried that people would see the inconsistencies or what have you with the makeup, so they kept the shots a little bit further away from it.
Nice. Okay.
But that ended up adding to the movie. Like, it was so much better.
I agree. I was thinking that same thing as you're saying that, because you and I are similar, and we've talked about this a zillion times on the podcast, where movies are fun when you kind of don't see the creature or the person or whatever. And then sometimes at the end, the reveal, we see it and it's like, oh, it's not as exciting. I like that they showed him pretty quick, but I do like that they kept it far away because it does add a little bit of that mystery. Even though we're seeing him, it's far enough where I'm like, it's creepy. Like, it's interesting. So I like that. I agree. I'm glad they didn't do close-ups. I think it adds to the mystique of it.
So reportedly, James Arness, who played the Thing, did not attend the premiere because he was embarrassed by his role as the Thing. It wasn't a serious role or whatever for him. So,
oh wow.
And reports are that he said he thought he looked like a big carrot, but there's also thoughts that maybe he just said that because they make some comments in the movie about the Thing looking like a giant carrot or being a giant carrot because it's made of plant matter or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and also, even though the Thing itself isn't even in the movie that long, Arness was barely the Thing. There's only a couple scenes because obviously when he's on fire, it's a stunt man. When he's
Right.
out in the dogs, it's a stuntman.
True.
At the end, when he's being electrocuted, it's a stuntman.
Right.
So there's only a
Wow.
few scenes where it's actually James Arness in the makeup and costume.
I would have, man, I'll be honest with you. If I had that role, I would absolutely be at that premiere. That'd be awesome. I'd be so happy with that.
It's a different time, you know?
I know, but still, like, oh man, that's cool. You're in a movie, dude.
I don't even know if they called this a horror movie back then. It was a science fiction movie, you know?
Yeah, I could see it being called science fiction instead, for sure.
So the main scene that I was looking forward to rewatching was the part where they're outside the greenhouse, because that was the scene that scared the hell out of my mom.
Really?
She always talked about how when they open the door and it's standing right there,
Mm-hmm.
like that was a jump scare back in the 1950s, you know?
I love it.
She said it scared the hell out of her. So,
Oh.
and
Oh.
when I was a kid, I couldn't see that. But now I can totally see that, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. That's
So-
wild. Oh, I kind of love that though. And you're sweet, Mom. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, things scared people. We always talk about this, even with the 80s
Mhm.
and stuff. How does something like Chucky actually scare somebody?
Right.
And Chucky scared you. How
Scared me, man.
would this 1950s black and white Frankenstein-looking monster scare people?
Right.
And that's what I try and decipher when I'm watching a movie like this, or when I watch, you know, the Universal monster movies, Dracula and stuff like that. I try and find the fear in these movies. How does this scare somebody
Nice.
back
I
in
like that.
1951, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. I can see it. The sound effects of the thing, like moaning or whatever it does,
Yeah.
you know?
I've thought of that too. Like, just, man, can you imagine if we had a time traveler that took some of the movies that are out now to the 50s? People would die, I feel like, watching those movies. They would just die.
I'm telling you, buddy. Like I've always said, if I could go back in time with a time machine, one of the times that I would love to go back to is opening weekend of The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I would love to be in the theater with those people on opening weekend to see their reactions live.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
even
Oh my
now,
God.
The Exorcist scares people. But back then, nobody had seen something like that. That was like going to see Martyrs, you know?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was disturbing to people. Again, this movie, I try and put myself back in that spot. Like
Mhm.
people weren't used to seeing creatures like this
Right.
as much as we are today.
Right. Very true.
Fantastic. Another little behind the scenes thing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know how to do breath condensation back then
Oh, right.
with special
Okay.
effects. So they actually filmed a few scenes that happened near the end of the movie. They filmed those in a cold storage facility.
Oh, fun. Okay. That's cool. That makes sense.
Because
I was hoping you weren't going to say that they were smoking like before they
No, that's been done before though.
Oh, has it? Ugh.
Sure. I feel like there's a movie that we did even where some of the behind the scenes mention that for smoke to come out of the guy's mouth or something, he took a puff off a cigarette first and then,
Oh, funny.
but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't
But
remember.
no, this was done in a cold storage facility because there's a part where the thing supposedly cuts off the temperature.
Right. Right.
He shuts the heaters down. He doesn't knock the electricity out, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool. I like that. Look at you with your behind the scenes. I love your behind the scenes.
Well, I knew there wasn't going to be a lot much else to talk about this movie.
I know. After I finished it, I was like, this is, I think, gonna be a quicker episode for us.
Maybe.
But that's all right. Maybe not.
I mean, I was planning on reading the entire first chapter of Moby Dick as well, so
that is crazy. I was gonna read the whole last chapter of Moby Dick.
spoilers.
Well, yeah, but I thought, there's not much before the last chapter.
You people have had 50 years to read or more. Wow. Way
Yeah,
longer
dude.
than 50 years now.
I'd say at least 51.
Yeah. 1951. Andrew, are you ready for 3 questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
Oh boy. All right, buddy. Question number 1. What was the best death/kill in this movie?
There's not many, and 2 of them happen off screen, and you never see them.
Yep.
Evidently, the thing hangs a couple of guys upside down and drains them of blood or something in the greenhouse.
Yep.
I like the description, but I'm still going to go with the thing itself because I was actually surprisingly tense during that scene.
Yeah.
I was wanting the thing to get in the correct spot in the hallway where they could turn on the electricity and electrocute him to ash.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed that scene, and I'm going to go with that. What about you?
I'm right there with you. And I love how they do get him in the spot, too, because they're like, he's not in the middle. And the guy throws, I forget what he throws, but throws it on the ground so the thing jumps and goes right kind of to the spot that they want. I'm like, perfect.
I know. That was clever.
It was good.
Throwing the axe and everything.
Yep.
Aw,
It was great.
that was so cool because he had to be on, I guess, the electric whatever walkway.
Conduit or whatever.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, question number 2, was this movie scary?
Back in 1951, I think it was, my friend.
Nice.
But obviously, a 1951 movie is not that scary today.
I agree. Perfect answer, buddy. Question number 3, did you have fun with horror?
Andrew, I did have fun with horror.
Aw.
I was looking forward to watching this movie from 1951. It's the oldest movie we've done on the
Yeah.
podcast. I don't expect we'll do too many old movies,
Yeah, I agree.
but it was an interesting movie to talk about and to watch and discuss. So, yeah, I did. Did you have fun with horror, my friend?
I did. Like I said, man, it's a charming movie. It's fun to watch. It brings back a lot of you get those feelings from movies at this point in time. And so, yeah, I had fun, buddy. I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The Thing.
From another world.
What did you say the number of that bulletin was?
629-49, item 6700, extract 75,131.
Oh, that one.
Well, Andrew,
Yes.
the question now
Mm-hmm.
is, what are you picking next? I mean, that's always the question, but this is a big one because you could continue on our journey through the movies based on who goes there, the Thing movies, if you will.
Yes.
We could go through all the international versions of The Thing by Juan Carpenter, Jarn Carpenter, and Jean Carpenter. Or you could pick a totally different movie. So what is our next movie, my friend?
Buddy, we're actually going to continue with the Thing universe and go to 2000. Hold on, though. We're
Hold
gonna
on.
go to the one I haven't seen because it's a prequel. We're going to 2011's The Thing. So not the original by John Carpenter, but the 2011 one, which again, I've never seen. So I'm excited about this, and I'm excited to continue this journey.
Awesome, buddy.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's not streaming anywhere, which I thought it would be, but so it's a rent or buy, or maybe you own it already, and that's great. But yeah, otherwise it's not streaming, it's a rent or buy.
Who directed this movie?
It's a great question, buddy. It's a great question. And, I got to think about it, just for a second.
Just for a moment.
Just for a moment. Do you happen to know off the top of your head?
No. This
Me
is your
either.
movie, not mine.
Gosh dang it. It, of course. Oh, wow.
Of
It's
course.
Oh, man. I'm going to destroy this name.
Jean?
Yep. No, it's Matthias Van Heijningen Jr. Whoa, I'm
kidding?
sorry, buddy.
Wait, really?
It's really that. Matthias Van Heijningen Jr. Oh,
I gotta
my
look
goodness.
this up. This is incredible.
Yeah, thanks for letting me read that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's your movie. Oh,
Oh.
Mathis Van Heiningen. There you go.
Oh, boy. There you go. Thanks.
Yeah, so
That was the next way I was going to say it.
this is, as Andrew said, the prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing. And it's an interesting movie because I believe when it came out, I mean, I'll have to do a little bit of research here.
Mm-hmm.
And we know I never do research.
That's true.
I believe that people weren't sure, and people thought it might be a remake.
Oh, okay.
And then it turned out to be a prequel. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in our next episode.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But until then, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, thank you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for listening to Fun with Horror.
I got nothing. That's
wow.
good.
Wow, I was expecting you to continue.
I can't do that.
You
You're
could
too
do
good
it.
at it.
Come on, you could do what our old people, who's our old guys?
Winston and Irving.
Winston and Irving.
Yeah.
I guess I could try the 1950s. Is that all right?
That's perfect, my friend.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you from the thing from another world.
And of course, we love you here at Fun with Horror.
We love all of you. Andrew,
Scotty,
I love you.
and I love you.
Goodbye. Bye.
Every one of you listening to my voice, tell the world. Tell this to everybody wherever they are. Watch the skies everywhere. Keep looking. Keep watching the skies.